If you sell a product or service, I'm going to show you an easy way that will increase the likelihood of you making a sale. Hi, I'm Mike from Market and Traffic, and in this video, I'm going to break down a quick ad and show you a way that by using simple, everyday, plain language, you can increase the likelihood of you making the sale. And you can do that by reducing the amount of friction going on inside their brain. Now, a typical sales process looks like this. You have a client or prospect, let's say, that looks like this. And they think of themselves as me because we know they're only interested in what's in themselves, right? Over here, you have your salesperson. And again, this salesperson could be an actual person. It could be a website. It could be an email sequence. But they have to communicate from their brain, okay, over to the prospect's brain what it is they're selling, why they're selling, what it is, how it works, how much is it, all these things. Now, in your prospect's mind, it looks something like this. They have a series of steps that they have to jump through in order to get themselves from a level of 0, meaning they don't know your product, they don't understand it, all the way to level 5. Now, this is called cold traffic over here, level 0. Trying to get somebody to buy your product or service from a point of 0 is very difficult and very expensive. But let's say they start at level 1, meaning they kind of understand it, they kind of know what they want, they're not too sure about the products on the market, but they at least have some knowledge. Now, the key point here is in order to make the sale or in order to get them to purchase what you're selling, you have to create an aha moment in their brain. So in their brain, they have to say, that's what I want. That's the thing I'm looking for. That sounds like what I want. That sounds like what I've been looking for. That sounds that thing that you're offering, that sounds like me. So in order to do this, let's see how we can do that by using simple everyday language. And again, now I'm going to break down this ad from Audi. Now, I'm in no way knocking Audi. I actually like their cars, but I represent the typical car buyer. And that means I am not a mechanic. I don't know mechanical terms. I don't even know what's under the hood. I'm not even sure why salespeople show you what's under the hood, or these car reviewers that show you under the hood, because nobody really has any sense of what they're looking at. So there's no point in actually showing them. So you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to sell an upgrade or sell a product to a prospect. You have to speak to them in their language. Now, if you are a niche supplier or seller and you're selling to a specific market, definitely use some of the terminology in that market. But if you are selling a mass product or service to the masses and they don't speak that language, you definitely have to dumb it down and speak to them on a common everyday language. And let's take a look at that. So this is the Audi website. And again, I'm not knocking Audi. Every car manufacturer makes these mistakes. And every business, big or small, makes these mistakes. So let's take a look at it. Now, your website, as we know, is a salesperson that works 24/7. And the salesperson has to be doing their job. They have to be improving. They have to be communicating clearly. We have to be testing them. They have to be showing results, etc. So this is a sales page. And if you're a copywriter, this sales page is obviously a little bit different than you're used to in terms of text heavy. This is obviously more visual. But in essence, at the end of the day, it is a sales page because they're trying to sell a product. So as you can see, there's some text, there's some image, there is some body copy, and let's do a build and price. So again, let's pretend we're in a prospect's state of mind. We're looking at this vehicle, and of course, they're going to offer you options. Now, I'm not going to debate whether options are a good or bad thing. I'm definitely a proponent of selling options or upgrades on anything, regardless of what product or service you're selling. But let's take a look at a specific example of how we can use common everyday language. Now, if we look at this car, there's some options here. And in this option, there's a sport suspension with damping control. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a mechanic, and I bet you aren't either. So in your head, you're looking at this car, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, they're trying to sell me this option. It's called sport suspension with damping control. Now, keep in mind the context. I'm at home. It's late at night. I'm on my computer, and I'm trying to figure out this thing if I want this option. So I click on the info button, and let's see what happens. Now, this is essentially an ad. Okay, and if you're a copywriter, let's break this down. And if you're a business owner, let me show you how by using some simple techniques, you could increase the chances of you making this sale. Now, when we look at this product, again, context is I am a non-mechanical person and I have no idea what I'm looking at right away because there's no headline here, okay, telling me what this thing is. I'm not even sure where this thing exists on a car. Number one. Number two, there's no captions to the parts. Like, what is this part? Okay, what is this thing here? Now, they've trying to highlight this possibly in red, but I'm colorblind, so I'm not even sure if that's red. If I was colorblind, I'm not, again, uncertainty, right? And you can see the hurdles that are coming up in a prospect's brain. So there's no captions, there's no headline, there's no indication of what this is. Now, again, I'm not contradicting myself. I know I said that you can't use technical words or try and dumb it down in terms of common everyday language, but at least have a descriptive word of what this thing, or the actual name, and then a brief description in English what it is, right? Or whatever language you speak. Next thing you can do, and it is a good thing, don't get me wrong, if you are selling a product, it is definitely an advantage to have an image to describe what it is you're selling so people can actually see tangibly what they're getting. But what you can do to improve this, let's have a standard, okay, standard, and then on this side of the page, we'll have the upgraded, okay? That way, you can have the picture of the thing over here, the standard item, and then over here, have the upgraded, or have the item with the upgrade, okay? That way they can clearly see the difference. They can compare in their brain, and their brain instantly knows by looking at the picture. Again, you want to paint a picture in their mind of what it is, right? So next, let's look at the title. Again, the title is obviously a technical title. Again, most people don't know what damping control is. That's going to need some explanation. Now, that's where we get into the body copy or the copy, because this copy here, again, this website is up running 24/7 and it has to be able to sell somebody on this $1,000 upgrade. So let me just jump over to my edit tool real quick, and I'm going to edit this, and let's look through this text and see how we can improve it. So, and again, when you picture in your head a salesperson talking to you and saying, ride and handling, tailored specifically to the driver. Okay, that's not too bad. It's a little wordy. It says, instead of conventional shock absorption, okay, I'm not even sure what conventional shock absorption means. I'm not even sure how conventional shock absorption works. Shock valves are controlled electronically in accordance with road conditions. So I don't know about you, but I've never heard anybody talk to me one-on-one and use the word accordance. Okay, I'm not, unless you're a lawyer or a mechanic, possibly that may be the case, but normal people do not use the word accordance. So you're definitely going to have to change that word with road conditions. It says driver control inputs. Again, if you're a car salesman, I want to ask you, when is the last time you said driver control inputs to somebody, right? Again, this website has to speak to someone's brain in common everyday language, and that will be called steering, right? Why use a fancy bunch of words when you can just replace it with an easy word like steering? It says the Audi drive control thing. So it's the next sentence, and I want you to read the sentence out loud. Read it to yourself, and I'm going to read it for you. It says, continuously adaptive damping characteristics deliver the appropriate damping forces in every driving situation. Now, you can see how you're kind of struggling to say that clearly. You're struggling to say it fast. Again, hurdles in the brain of the prospect. They're trying to figure out what the heck this thing is and why do I need it? Like, you haven't really given me a reason to need it that I can understand. So let's edit, or let's redo this sentence, and let's see if we can make it a bit better. So we'll say, I'm going to do this on the fly, so it's not going to be perfect, but we'll say something like, whatever the road conditions, the XY system will automatically, because we want the system, you're asking us to pay $1,000, so this thing better work automatically, right? So the system will automatically adjust itself so that, and the key here is so that, because when you say that in a prospect's brain, they immediately know what they're getting. So that you'll always have an ultra smooth, quiet, and comfortable ride. Okay, so you can see how just by using common everyday language, that's probably something that an average person would say to another, or an average salesperson should be speaking to his prospect, because again, that simple everyday language that they can understand. When they read that light bulb kind of goes off in their head, saying they can kind of relate to that. They can picture in their mind why they want that, because they're a type of person that wants an ultra smooth, quiet, and comfortable ride, as opposed to kind of the standard. Not saying that the standard is terrible, but we're trying to paint the picture in their mind of why they would want this. And we do that by using simple, everyday, plain language. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions at all about how you can use simple everyday language or copywriting to sell your product or services, let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to respond. Take care and I'll talk to you soon.